Ma'am, Sushmita, I'm audible. Am I audible? I'm just testing my this headset. Morning, Dr. Arman.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Morning to our dear speakers, Dr. Singh and Dr. Santos. I hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am. Very clear po.
So, good morning, everyone. I am Associate Professor Sharimo Morales of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines Research Management Office. I will be your moderator this morning. And in behalf of the Core Research Foundation, we would like to welcome you, all our participants, and of course to our guest speakers. So, good morning, everyone. I love the saying that I should have in the audio mode. So I am turning off my video and go to audio mode. Cheryl Sharimo Morales. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation in Research Management Office, I would be your that office for statistical data analysis. We would like, and in behalf of the Core Research Foundation, Taiwanese we would like to welcome you, all our participants, and of course to our guest for social networks. Good morning, everyone. I want to say that I should have in the audio mode. So I am in Cybernetic Society. Turning off my video and go to audio mode. Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research, I am delighted to welcome all the delegates and participants around the globe for statistical data analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome you, for Sustainable Society, all our participants, and of course to our guests for social networks. Of course, today, everyone, I want to say that I should have in the audio mode. So I am in for this year's theme of the conference, and go to audio mode. Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation, we welcome all the delegates and participants around the globe for statistical data analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome you, for Sustainable Society, all our participants to join us to this 20 for social networks students all around the globe. I want to say you are welcome to be stimulated and for this year's theme of the conference by delving into precious Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation, we welcome all the delegates and participants around the globe for statistical data analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome all the people. A great pleasure to join us organizing scholars for social networks students all around the globe. I want to say you are welcome to all the delegates and for this year's theme of the conference, we would like delving into precious Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation, we welcome all the delegates and participants around the globe for statistical data analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome all the a great pleasure to join us organizing scholars for social networks students all around the globe. I want to say you are welcome to all the delegates and for this year's theme of the conference, we would like delving into precious Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation, we welcome all the delegates and participants around the globe for statistical data analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome all the a great pleasure to join us organizing scholars for social networks students all around the globe. I want to say you are welcome to all the delegates and for this year's theme of the conference, we would like delving into precious Taiwan and social networks. So again, on behalf of Core Research Foundation, we welcome all the delegates and
Very
participants around the
good
globe
morning
for
to
statistical data
everyone.
analysis. We would like the International Conference on Taiwanese Association to welcome all the a great pleasure to join us organizing scholars for social networks students all around the globe. I want to say you are welcome to all the delegates and for this year's theme of the conference, we would like
Good
delving
morning,
into
everyone.
precious Taiwan and social
Respected
networks. So again,
members
on
of
behalf of
the
Core Research
organizing
Foundation,
committee,
we welcome all the
speakers,
delegates and
very
participants
most
around
good
the globe
morning
for
to
statistical
everyone,
data analysis. We would like the
delegates,
International
and all
Conference on
participants.
Taiwanese
I, on
Association
behalf
to
of
welcome
organizing
a
committee of
great pleasure
ICMAS
to join us
conference,
organizing
wish
scholars
to
for
extend
social
my
networks
gratitude
students
and
all around
welcome
the globe. I want to say you are
everyone to
welcome
the
to all the
international
delegates
conference
and for this year's theme of the
multidisciplinary
conference,
approach
we would
for
like
good morning
delving into
everyone.
precious Taiwan
To
and social
organize right
networks. So
member
again, on
research
behalf of
foundation
Core Research
organizing committee.
Foundation, we
Core Research
welcome all the
Foundation is
delegates
one of
and
the
participants
fastest
around the
growing
globe for
research
statistical data
platform
analysis.
for
We would like
academic
the
research
International
such as
Conference on
participants like
Taiwanese
I on
Association to
behalf of
welcome
organizing
a great
connect
pleasure
associate
to join us
conference above
organizing
options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning everyone at Philippines Multidisciplinary Conference and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning everyone at Philippines Multidisciplinary Conference and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe such an enterprise contribution to organizing options to extend universities and research outside, provide knowledge to national capabilities and research multidisciplinary approach with voice of good morning panel Philippines Multidisciplinary and International Marketing seminar is one vast study research and developing multidisciplinary and public policy I believe
Hello, good morning, Miss Rima Morales. Am I audible? Okay, so please allow me to share my screen. Okay, is my screen now shared? morning, Miss Rima Morales. Am I audible? Okay, so once again, magandang umaga. Salamat everybody. Good morning everyone and mabuhay from the Philippines. I am Dr. Arman Busy Santos from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to be part of the International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society with this year's theme, Diverge Advance to Sustainable Development in Society. So once again, I would like to express my gratitude to organizing Good Morning Everyone, especially from Mrs. Bianca Sahu and Ms. Darren Morales for the invitation. This international conference is managed for us educators, researchers and leaders, and other professionals in various fields of sustainable society. This year's theme is Diverge Advance, and I know that this event will also provide opportunities to collaborate once again and create organized research endeavors that may bring new knowledge or provide solutions to problems in our society. Moreover, I believe that every conference is from this Sahu and establish good relationships among individuals from various professional conference allowing to share researchers and leaders about the various understanding this year's title of the conference. And I know that this event is to provide opportunities to educate and sustainability. So first, what is learning? Let me bring new knowledge or provide solutions many of us to problems in our terminology. Moreover, I study that we probably have different ideas in mind, which is part of the learning from various professional conference. So by definition, learning is allowing us to share our researchers and leaders learning is orders to understanding and development of skills and persons forward to learn and as a result, persons with learning disabilities have new knowledge or provide solutions many of us are aware of this terminology and writing, paying attention, understanding information, and remembering things are the formats of our so by definition, learning is ability to our researchers learning is often diagnosed as the primary source of executing example and according to the United States National Institute for Developing Disorders. As a result, persons that learn set of children will knowledge or provide some type of learning aware of this terminology and writing. However, some people are not understanding information and remembering things are the formats of our others for seasons and experiences. They naturalize our emotions and they have so much learning them and diagnose work and operations or executing example and for the United States National Institute for Developing Disorders as a result persons that understand knowledge of science, mathematics, and writing. However, some are not understanding from a person of their age. And finally, learning disabilities are considered as specific neurological impairments which are different from what we know as global intellectual or developmental disabilities such as the autism, ADHD, and others. Nevertheless, some of the most accomplished and influential people in the history have had learning disabilities, including Albert Einstein, who has dyslexia and ADHD, and widely acknowledged to be one of the greatest and most influential physicists at all times. We also have Leonardo da Vinci, who has dyslexia, who is well known as a painter, an engineer, a scientist, and an architect. Same with Thomas Edison, who has dyscalculia and dyslexia and ADHD, who invented and developed many devices such as electric power generation, mass communication, and motion pictures, as well as Winston Churchill, who has dyslexia, a British statesman and soldier, and have served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom twice. As we go on with our discussion, I will give you a primer about learning disabilities regarding its types, causes, symptoms, and others. So, what are the different learning disabilities? So again, learning disability is an umbrella that is an umbrella term that encompasses many types of specific learning disorders, including dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, auditory processing disorder, language processing disorder, nonverbal learning disability, and visual perceptual or visual motor deficits. So what are these learning disabilities? First is dyslexia. Dyslexia is the most common learning disability, which accounts for around 80% of all learning disability cases. And it is actually a language processing disorder, which is characterized by difficulty with speaking, reading, and writing or understanding words that can cause the person's vocabulary to develop in a slower pace. And it actually leads to issues with grammar, reading comprehension, and other language skills. The next learning disability is called dysgraphia. And people with dysgraphia may have difficulty in putting their thoughts into writing. And due to the issues with vocabulary, spelling, grammar, and memory and critical thinking, this condition is characterized by poor handwriting, as persons may struggle with letter spacing, spatial awareness, and motor planning. And dysgraphia can actually make it hard for persons to think and write simultaneously. The next learning disability is called dyscalculia, and it is actually sometimes called as math dyslexia. And this condition includes learning disorder related to the domain of mathematics, and such as difficulty with numbers, concepts, and reasoning. And people with dyscalculia may struggle to count money, read clocks, tell time, perform mental math calculations, and identify numbers and patterns and applying mathematical formulas. Next to dyscalculia, we also have what we call dyspraxia. And this learning disability is a lifelong trouble with movement and coordination. Actually, it is not a formal diagnostic term, but we can see that this term is being used especially in the United Kingdom. But the formal diagnosis for this is called developmental coordination disorder. It affects 6 to 10% of children, although this prevalence rate may be smaller than what is expected since many of the children with this condition may have never been officially diagnosed. And it is said to be 4 times more common in boys and girls. And children or people with this disability has challenges and struggles with balance, coordination, and motor skills, from simple skill like using a pencil to making large movements like kicking a ball and doing multi-steps like tying a shoelace. And it affects the patient's ability to perform a wide range of routinary tasks and can actually impact learning, working in the daily living. Next is auditory processing disorder. And people with this called APD may have difficulties processing sounds. And it is because of because their brain misinterprets the auditory information which is received by the ear. And as a result, they may be confused the order of the sounds in a certain word, or they may not be able to distinguish between sounds such as the teacher's voice and the background noise in the classroom. Next is what we call language processing disorder. So this one is a subset of the auditory processing disorder, which is characterized by difficulties with processing spoken language. And the person may have difficulty attaching meaning to sound groups representing words, sentences, and stories. Next is the nonverbal learning disability, or NVLD, which is characterized by difficulty interpreting nonverbal cues such as the facial expressions, the body language, tone of voice, and other nonverbal signals. Their nonverbal skills include motor, visual, spatial, and social skills. And NVLD is not an official diagnosis, but the challenges can actually impact the learning and the working of the individual. And likewise, they also make social interaction very hard for people with this kind of disability. Next is the visual perceptual or visual motor deficit. And people with this condition may have difficulty with hand-eye coordination and other motor activities. They may frequently lose their spot while reading or demonstrate unusual eye movements while reading or writing, or even confuse similar looking letters or have difficulty in navigating their environment and struggle to manage items like pens, pencils, crayons, glue, and scissors. So with the wide range of the learning disabilities that I have mentioned, it is very important that as teachers and as parents, we have the ability to see the common symptoms or the red flags of these learning disabilities so that we will be able to properly give them the right diagnosis and treatment that they deserve. Symptoms of learning disabilities includes but are not limited to poor memory, difficulty focusing, short attention span, difficulty with reading and writing, inability to distinguish between sounds, letters, and numbers, difficulty sounding out words, tendency to put numbers or letters in the wrong sequence, difficulty telling time, confusion between the right and the left, tendency to reverse letters, difficulty grasping certain words and concepts, disconnection between words and meaning, difficulty expressing thoughts and emotions, poor hand-eye coordination, delayed speech development, disorganization, trouble with listening and following instructions, inappropriate responses, restlessness and impulsiveness, tendency to act out, difficulty with discipline, resistance to change, and inconsistent performance on daily or weekly basis. Although it could be tiring because we have a long list of symptoms, but then since there is a variety or a wide range of disabilities, one or two of these symptoms may actually lead to proper diagnosis, or rather for earlier determination of the possible learning disabilities that the children may have. While all children struggle with some of these things from time to time during their school years, people with learning disabilities tend to have a cluster of these symptoms that persists even as they get older. So in short, it's condition that starts with young years until they get older, they have this condition. And according to the National Institute of Learning Development, frustration is one of the hallmarks of this condition, since people with learning disabilities often excel in some areas, but they do poorly in other areas and are often acutely aware of the gaps between what they can do and what they cannot do. Now, what causes learning disabilities? So learning disabilities are caused by different neurological functioning of the person's brain. And these differences can occur before the person is born, or during their birth, or in early childhood, and may be caused by factors such as maternal illness during the pregnancy of the mother, the birth complications that block the flow of oxygen to the body's brain, or certain genes that can make the person more genetically predisposed to developing or learning disability, or injury or illness such as meningitis in early childhood. Likewise, it can also be caused by health conditions such as cerebral palsy and Down syndrome, often involved in some extent of learning disability. However, it is important to take note that these learning disabilities should not be mistaken for learning problems that arise due to other factors, such as the visual, hearing, verbal or motor handicaps, intellectual disability, emotional disturbances, economic or cultural or environmental disadvantages. Now, how do we diagnose a child with learning disability? So the right person to diagnose a child with a learning disability is, of course, our healthcare professionals. So healthcare professionals can diagnose learning disabilities by using a process that might involve any of the following or a combination. Okay. So first is the use of academic testing. Okay. Excuse me, I hear some background noise. Okay. Let me continue. So again, academic testing first. Of course, our professionals may provide or administer standardized achievement tests that can check the person's reading, writing, and arithmetic skills, as well as their intelligence quotient or IQ. If the person performs well on the IQ test but has a lower score in the achievement test, then it could be an indication that the child has learning disability. Again, children with learning disabilities are children with normal to above normal intelligence quotient. Next is through performance review. So the professional or the healthcare provider may review and evaluate the person's academic, professional, social, and developmental performance along with medical history. That is likely the professional could ask questions about the person's personal and family medical history. Likewise, a physical and neurological examination can also be used by conducting physical and neurological examination to check for other health conditions such as brain diseases, mental health conditions, and developmental and intellectual disabilities. So how do we along with diagnosing children with learning disabilities, it should be accounted that every learning disability has different symptoms, and everyone's experience of this condition is unique, as they may experience differences in frequency or intensity of their symptoms. Likewise, some people may have single or isolated learning difficulty that doesn't have a severe impact on their day-to-day life, whereas others may have several learning disabilities that overlap with each other and make it difficult for them to function without support. Now, how do we treat learning disabilities? Actually, learning disabilities are lifelong condition, and we cannot fix it or cure. However, with timely diagnosis, treatment, and support, people with learning disabilities can be successful at work, at school, among others in their communities. And treatment of learning disabilities may involve any of the following. We can have special education, where children with learning disabilities may benefit from education by specially trained teachers to perform comprehensive evaluation of the child's ability and help them build their strengths while compensating for their disability. Medication could also help because some people may need to take medications to improve their ability to focus and concentrate. Therapy is also can be also used for treatment, in which psychotherapy can help people with learning disabilities to deal with their emotional issues and develop coping skills. Other interventions may also help because people with learning disabilities may benefit from other interventions such as speech and language therapy. And among others, one of the important is the support groups. So people with learning disabilities, of course, together with their parents and family, need support group that can help them connect with others who have similar experiences. So with this, children with learning disabilities were found to be estimated to around 240 million children worldwide. Like all children with this learning disabilities have ambitions and dreams for their futures. And like all other children, they need quality education to develop their skills and realize their full potentials. Yet, sadly, children with learning disabilities are often overlooked in policy making, thus limiting their access to education and their ability to participate in school, economic, and social or political life. Worldwide, these children are among the most likely to be out of school, and they face persistent barriers to education stemming from discrimination, stigma, and the routine failure of decision makers to incorporate disability in school services. Robbed of the right to learn, children with learning disabilities are often denied the chance to take part of their communities and that the workforce the decision that most affect them. Sadly, learning disability is one of the most serious barriers to education across the globe. And to ensure that all children with learning disabilities will not be left behind, inclusive education is very important. But what is inclusive education? Well, inclusive education is an education system that includes all students and welcomes and supports them to learn whoever they are and whatever their abilities and requirements. This means that inclusive education makes sure that teaching and the curriculum, together with the school building, facilities, classrooms, play areas, transport, and toilet services are appropriate for all children at all levels. And inclusive education means all children learn together in the same school. Likewise, inclusive education is found to be the most effective way to give all children a fair chance to go out to school, learn and develop skills that they need to thrive. And inclusive education means that all children in the same classroom and in the same school. It means real learning opportunities for groups who are traditionally being excluded, and inclusive education has the system value has this inclusive system which value the unique contribution of students of all backgrounds, bring to the classroom and allow diverse groups to grow side by side to the benefit of all. Simply, inclusive education means every child has the right to quality education and learning. And with the various difficulties and deficits encountered by children with learning disabilities, many of us may probably ask, isn't it better to separate children with learning disabilities who need special attention? Well, the answer is no guarantee. According to studies, special education provides no guarantee of success for children who need special attention. Also, based on research, inclusive schools that provide supportive, context-appropriate conditions for learning demonstrate a far better outcome. Extracurricular activities, peer support, or more specialized interventions involve the entire community working as a team. So what are the elements of inclusive education? Well, we have three basic elements of the inclusive education. First is the use of teaching assistants or specialists. So this staff may have the potential to be inclusive or divisive. Of course, we are in the inclusive side. For instance, a specialist who helps teacher address the needs of all the students is working inclusively, while a specialist who pulls out students out of the class to work with them individually on a regular basis is not inclusive. Okay? Next is an inclusive curriculum. We need to ensure that the curriculum includes locally relevant themes and contributions by marginalized and minority groups. Likewise, we should avoid binary narratives of good and bad and allows adapting the curriculum to the learning styles of the children with special education needs. And finally, parental involvement is very important. So most of the schools strive for some level of parental involvement, but it's usually limited to emails at home and occasional parent-teacher conferences. What parental involvement that we wanted is to have a diverse school system in which inclusions means thinking about multiple ways to reach out to the parents on their own terms. But how are we going to advance to inclusive education? Well, to make inclusive education a reality, we need to do the following. First, we need to ensure that our educators have the training, the flexibility, and the resources to teach the students with diverse needs and learning styles. Second, we need to ensure that the kindergartens and schools receive adequate and sustainable financial support so that all activities and services are fully inclusive. Also, we need to empower our parents because they need to assert their children's right to education in inclusive settings. Also, we need to enable the entire community, including the mainstream and special educators, the social workers, the parents, and the students to work together and participate in the design, delivery, and monitoring of education, thereby reframing inclusive education as a shared responsibility. And finally, we need to hold our governments accountable for implementing anti-discrimination legislation, legal mandates for inclusion, and policies to remove barriers. With our efforts to ensure inclusive education for all children with learning disabilities, How do we ensure sustainability of inclusive education? Well, sustainable development is actually embedded in the ethos or the nature of inclusive education. Inclusive education resonates positively with widely agreed values of creating sustainable futures by emphasizing the value of each individual, embracing education for all, and promoting sustainable well-being in our communities. In the broad sense, inclusive education represents universal values of social justice and incorporates the idea of constantly evolving democracy. Our point of view is that our rallying for inclusive education may support the building of resilient and tolerant communities in our current pluralistic world and enhance the quality and equity in educational settings. In closing, let me again emphasize that every child, with or without learning disability, has the right to quality education and learning. So, that ends my presentation. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Maraming salamat po. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you again, Dr. Santos. Yes, great. So to have our next speaker, so again, that's our keynote Arman Santos. So to know more, we will be introducing our next speaker, our guest speaker. IFRSA, ASTD, PAAR, and more, a lot more organization. I hope Dr. C would elaborate on those activities later in his discussion. He has been honored as a featured member by the World Academic Industry Research Collaboration Organization, or WIRCO, for the period of lifetime. Congratulations, Dr. Singh. His profile has been published in World Book of Researchers in 2018 at Oxford, United Kingdom. He has been honored with Letter of Appreciation by World Book of Records London for commendable achievements. He has been honored researcher in the Academy of Emeritus Professor in 2022. Furthermore, to mention, he is associated with Dr. Kalam International Foundation, DKIF, as Vice President and PRIPHBI Adade Association India as Managing Director of the National Core Committee member. He has been esteemed to address World Peace Summit 2022 and various other conferences as keynote speaker. To his credit, goes 77 international and national conferences FTPs, CDPs, and offerings in over 100 plus research in about 100 plus paper items and 1,000, even more than 1,000 projects to the students of BTech and MBA. It is my great honor and pleasure to again introduce Dr. Hardeep Singh for his keynote speech on the topic exploring the crucial role of self-confidence in conducting successful research. Good morning, Dr. Singh.
Okay. बंद ही हो गया Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
My screen is visible.
Yes.
Ma'am, my screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Should I start now? Good morning to all the eminent personalities and the organizers of this conference, International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society, which is held at Jakarta, Indonesia. So, title of my today's keynote talk is Exploring the Crucial Role of Self-Confidence in Conducting Successful Research. So, dear participants, dear researchers, research requires a lot of hard work and perseverance. Research refers to the systematical and methodological investigation, exploration, and analysis of a particular topic or issue with the aim of discovering new knowledge, understanding, and insights. It is a process of inquiry that involves collecting and analyzing data, review literature and previous research, formulating hypotheses or questions, and drawing conclusions based on the evidence gathered. Research can be conducted in various fields such as science, social sciences, humanities, technology, and business. Its ultimate goal is to contribute to the advancement of the knowledge and the improvement of our understanding of the world around us. As we all know that research is essential for several reasons. There may be many reasons for doing the research. First is research helps to expand knowledge in a particular field or subject. By conducting research, we can learn more about a topic, gain a deeper understanding of its complexities, and develop new insights and perspectives. Secondly, research helps to solve problems and answer questions, whether it is finding a cure for a disease, developing a new technology, or investigating a social issue. Research can help us identify solutions and make progress towards addressing these challenges. One thing more I would like to mention that research becomes worthy, it becomes, you can say, fruitful only when we are giving a solution to the existing problem of the society. This is the main motto of the research. If our research cannot give a solution to any problem, then this research is of no use. Thirdly, research is essential for informed decision making. Governments, businesses, and individuals rely on research to inform their decisions on a range of issues from policy making to investment decisions. Overall, research plays a crucial role in advancing our understanding of the world, solving problems, society problems, and making informed decisions. So, today I am talking about self confidence and research, role of self confidence in successful research. So, self confidence is the belief in one's abilities, qualities, and judgments. That self confidence means confidence in yourself, your own abilities and qualities. It is the feeling of self assurance that arises from an appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Self confidence helps in setting and achieving research goals. It enables researchers to take risks and explore new ideas. Self confidence is important in handling rejections and criticisms. Self confidence gives researchers the belief that they can achieve their goals. That is very much important. If the researcher doesn't have belief in his own self or doesn't have the belief that he can do this thing, he can prove this thing, he can achieve this goal, then I think researcher can do nothing. So self confidence plays a very important role in the life of researcher in achieving the goals, in achieving the, you can say, objectives. It helps in overcoming obstacles and setbacks during the research process. So obstacles are another part of our life, our professional life. When we start moving towards anything, any destination, many obstacles come in our way, and we should know how to overcome those obstacles. We should have confidence in ourselves to overcome those obstacles. Only after that we will be able to, you can say, perform a successful research, and we will be able to give a fruitful solution of the problem to the society. Then self confidence enables researchers to take risks and explore new ideas. We all know that risk taking is very much important in our life to be successful. A person who is not able to take risks, he cannot do anything. So self confidence enables to take risks, to do new research, to find the solutions for new problems and explore new ideas. It encourages researchers to step outside their comfort zones and pursue innovative research ideas. We all know that when we have to become successful, we have to come out of our comfort zone and pursue our, you can say, and to think about new ideas and work upon the new ideas, innovative ideas. Self confidence helps in dealing with the uncertainty that comes with exploring new ideas. Uncertainty is another thing, that we don't know the results. What will happen? The results will be positive, or results will be negative. But we should have confidence in ourselves, self confidence, that helps us to move forward and deal with the uncertainty. And when you will work with full self confidence and with your positive attitude, with your self motivation, then there will be no uncertainty, and you will be able to deal with that thing, and you will explore new ideas. Hello. 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 Yes. Okay. Right. Right.
Oh, Dr. Singh, your PPT is not showing.
So, self confidence helps in handling rejections and criticisms. I have already talked that when we start doing something, when we start some project, there comes rejections in our way, criticism in our way. The people, they start criticizing us when we move towards the success or when we do something. There are, you can say, there are positive people, there are negative people. Some people, positive people even criticize, they help you to improve, they help you to do it good. And there are some negative people who criticize your work, so that you may not move forward. If you do not have self confidence in yourself, researcher does not have self confidence in him, he will, you can say, stop that work, he will leave that work, leave that project. So self confidence is
Dr.
very much
Singh,
important
Dr.
in
Singh,
handling
Dr.
in
Singh,
handling rejection.
I'm
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Singh, I'm afraid the PowerPoint is not visible. It's just the email that you are showing us. My apology.
Right.
The
Should
one that
I
I'm
will
seeing, yeah, right.
stop sharing and share again. Just
Technical
wait.
thing. Yes, yes, please do so. Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Is it visible now?
That's it better, Dr. C. Thank you. It's visible.
Is it visible? Should I
And
start
just
now?
so
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So
stop.
self doubt is another thing. When we start doing something, doubts come in our mind, doubts come in the mind of the audience, in the you can say minds of the public. So to remove the doubts, to solve the doubts, that is very much important. The researcher should have experience, should have self confidence to remove that doubts, even the doubts of the public and the doubts of the population, and even his own doubts during the research process, which will impact their self confidence. So self confidence plays a very important role in, you can say, overcoming the self doubts. Then strategies such as self reflection, seeking support, and focusing on past success can help researcher overcome self doubt and maintain their confidence. So self doubt, overcoming the self doubts, doubts of the publication, doubts of the population, doubt of the audience, that is very much important. And self confidence is the only remedy that help you to solve the doubts, to remove the doubts, to overcome the doubts, so that you may present your successful, you can say, solution, successful research in front of the government, in front of the population. So self confidence. Next comes communicating findings. When you have done the full research, everything is, you can say, complete. Now you have to communicate the findings, you have to present the findings in front of the, you can say, population, in front of the society. Then for that communicating findings, for communicating the research in an, you can say, impressive way, in an effective way, your confidence matters a lot. Self confidence is very much important. Self confidence is crucial in communicating research findings, as it enables researchers to articulate their ideas and findings clearly and effectively. So the findings should be, you can say, communicated clearly and effectively. Only then it will do something for the society. If you are not able to communicate your findings clearly and effectively, then the public, the society will not come to know about the research, your research process, your research work, and they will not come to know what you have done for them. Researchers who lack self confidence may struggle to present their work to others or to engage in productive academic discussions. Next coming that I have talked about the role of self confidence in research, how self confidence works in doing successful research. Then how can we build that self confidence? Self confidence can be developed and strengthened over time. It can be built by setting small achievable goals and celebrating success. When you will be able to, when you will be setting small goals, you will be able to achieve those goals. And you know, when you achieve any goal, when you achieve any success, there is an happiness in ourselves, there is a pleasure in ourselves, and we need to celebrate that success. When you celebrate that success, we achieve that goals, a motivation comes inside you. That is called self motivation, and that motivation that pushes you toward the success, toward achieving the major goals. So small achievable goals are very much required. When you set the small achievable goals, achieve them, and celebrate the success, that builds self confidence in you. Self confidence can be improved by seeking feedback and focusing on strengths. Feedback is another very important thing. Feedback tells you what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where you need to be improved, what are the lacking points, what are the limitations, and you work upon that, and you start moving towards your goals. And that again builds self confidence in you. When you improve your limitations, improve your lackings, your negative points, and focusing on strength, you should empower your strengths. The strength should be empowered. By empowering your strengths, you become more strong, self confidence is built, and you are able to, you can say, complete your research project. Then comes how to overcome the self confidence, lack of self confidence. When there is lack of self confidence in the researcher, how can he overcome that? First is accept yourself as you are. Then appreciate your own achievements. I have already talked that achievements and successes need to be celebrated and and appreciated. Avoid comparison. Stop being a people pleaser. Then stop thinking too much. Know yourself. Let your emotions out. Make changes in your lifestyle when there are some changes required. Some, you can say, there are negative points. You need to improve them. You should make the changes and build your self confidence and work towards the successful research. So, lastly, concluding my talk, self confidence plays a critical role in research. It helps in setting and achieving research goals, exploring new ideas, and handling rejections and criticism. Self confidence is an essential attribute for researchers as it impacts several aspects of the research process. And the researchers who possess self confidence are more likely to set ambitious goals, undertake complex studies, and communicate their findings effectively, which can lead to successful outcomes for a sustainable society. Researchers can improve their self confidence by setting small, achievable goals, seeking feedback, and focusing on their strengths. So, lastly, I would like to thank once again the organizers of this conference, International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society, Jakarta, Indonesia. So, my talk is over. Any query, any question anybody like to ask, I am free to answer that question. Thanks once again.
Yes. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for that wonderful presentation. We hope we can contact, can we have your email if ever our participants would like to directly connect with you?
Photo खींचिए कहते हैं खींचते छेती
From
बंद हो जाना
yeah. So again, that's the
ਉਹਦੀ खींच
Hartap
screen ਦੀ
Singh in his
screen
presentation on
screen ਦੀ
confidence.
बस खाली
Okay, so we'll be taking a 15-minute break. Is Dr. Professor Bulbas around? Dr. Hazard Balbas, Assalamu alaikum, are you with
ਛੱਡ
us? We will take a 15-minute break, and then Dr. Technical team, technical team.
स्नैपचैट है मैंने सेव कर लिया
We'll take a 15-minute break first. To all our participants and our presenter, we'll be back. It's 11:08. We'll be back at 11:23, and we will have her Bulbas to speak. Again, thank you. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Yeah.
ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਹੈਲੋ
Yes, ma'am. Now then,
Dear participants again, I have posted in the chat box. We'll have 15-minute break. So just 15 minutes break. My apology with the time confusion. Just 15-minute break. We'll be back by 10:23. I have posted it in the chat box. We'll be back by 10:23. Okay, technical. So again, hope you enjoy your 15-minute break. We'll now continue our lectures. It believe Professor Rada Barbas is already here. Assalamu alaikum, Professor Barbas. Yeah. So moving forward, I guess Professor Barbas got disconnected again. So we'll just move forward with our next speaker. So before we move forward, again, this conference, the International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society, is brought to you by the Core Research Foundation in association with STAT Office Kaiser Balbaz is a lecturer in Statistics Department and College of Administration and Economics at University Erbil. He is in Statistics Department at Salah. He was the third among 132 students with an average of 85.516 in 2007. He has taught several classes. He has taught I'll be turning off my video. He has taught several classes, particularly in applied statistics, principles of statistics, sampling survey, regression models, SPSS, and academic debate. He got promoted from assistant lecturer to lecturer on the 17th of January in 2018, and he gained a PhD in statistics department at Salahuddin University in 19th of October 2022. He was promoted from lecturer to assistant professor on April 10, 2013, and he is the founder of the STAT Office for Statistical Data Analysis and Training in Iraq. His center is helping undergraduate and graduate students in writing their thesis or dissertation, especially in practical section. The STAT Office also works with several master's and PhD students as external supervisor. Professor Hazar Balbas also has published 14 papers. Three of them are in Scopus, and one of them is in Thomson Reuters, and currently has 89 citations. Also, he has written an academic book, An Elementary of Statistics in the English Language, which is helpful for all students who study in statistics department and in other different majors. Again, I would like to invite Professor Hazard Talat Abubakar Balbas. Assalamu alaikum, Professor. The topic would be most common mistakes in quantitative data analysis. Technical. Technical team. I believe Professor Balbas has this video. Can you play it for us now? Oh, Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Hazard is already here with us. Dr. Hazard, you can share your screen right now. I guess we are having some technical difficulty regarding the connection of our guest speaker, and we will be playing his video presentation.
Hello, dear all. I'm so glad to be here again and again for the International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society. Our topic to be for today, common mistakes in
Technical, we're not
quantitative
hearing
data
any audio.
analysis. For sure, this is important for most of the researchers, masters or PhD students to know what's the mistakes in data analysis. The first analysis.
Does our participant, Dr. Sabado, are we hearing any audio? Is there any audio? Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, dear all. I'm so glad to be here again and again for the International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approach for Sustainable Society. Our topic to be for today, common mistakes in quantitative data analysis. For sure, this is important for most of the researchers, masters or PhD students to know what's the mistakes in data analysis. The first error or first mistake is inadequate configuration, okay? For example, if you see in here, from the hypothesis that have been written, the relationship between two variables, for example, relationship between age and systolic blood pressure. The hypothesis is clear. Once you go to the analysis, you see they have been doing descriptive statistics such as mean, median, mode, and extra. Oh, it's it, the correlation, the relationship. So it's totally wrong. Depend on the hypothesis that you have it in here, the correct analysis would be correlation between age and blood pressure,
Dear
which is one
technical,
of
we
the
believe there's
inferential
no audio
statistics
on the
test.
presentation.
Once you know you have the correlation between the age and blood
Technical
pressure
team,
of sure in the
kindly fix the audio. We are not hearing any. Thank you. The audio
approach
is
for
still muted.
sustainable society. Our topic to be for today, common mistakes in quantitative data analysis. For sure, this is important for most of the researchers, masters or PhD students to know what's the
Again, we
mistakes
are technically
in
currently having some
data
difficulty in the
analysis.
audio of the presentation. Let's again
The first error or first
have
mistake
and
is
welcome our
inadequate
participants and
configuration.
guests
Okay.
to
For example, if you see
International
in here,
Conference.
from the hypothesis that have been written, the relationship between two variables, for example, relationship between age and systolic blood pressure. The hypothesis is clear. Once you go to
Okay, now
the
we're feeling the
analysis,
audio,
that
but
you
the slides
see
isn't
they have been doing descriptive
technical.
statistics such as mean, median, mode, and extra. Oh, it's it, the correlation, the relationship. So
Technical.
it's totally wrong. Depends. Once you now you have the